Welcome to Historical English Explorer, your daily guide to mastering English. In today's video, we will improve your English listening skills. I'll be reading 10 different stories for you, so make sure to listen attentively. Story number 1, Student in London.
Sarah's life in London marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey. She was a young university student who had come from the countryside, driven by her dream of becoming a lawyer. The bustling city, so different from her quiet hometown, presented both opportunities and challenges for Sarah. Leaving her family behind was the first big step Sarah took towards her future. The decision was tough and filled with mixed emotions. She was excited about the new experiences that awaited her in London, yet sad to be leaving the warmth and comfort of her family home. Her parents, though supportive, were also worried about the challenges she would face in the big city. Arriving in London, Sarah was immediately struck by the city's energy and pace. The streets were always busy, filled with people from all walks of life. The tall buildings, the crowded buses, and the constant hum of the city were a stark contrast to the peaceful countryside she was used to. But Sarah was determined to make the most of her time in London. One of the first challenges Sarah faced was the high cost of living. The rent for her small apartment was more than she had anticipated, quickly eating into her savings. To make ends meet, Sarah had to find a part-time job. She started working at a local cafe, a job that demanded her time and energy, but was necessary to support herself. Working at the cafe was a new experience for Sarah. She learned to balance her time between her job and her studies. The work was tiring, often leaving her with little time to rest. Making coffee, serving customers, and cleaning up at the end of the day were all part of her daily routine. But Sarah took it in stride, knowing that this was a stepping stone towards her goal. University life was another challenge. The academic pressure was intense, and the studies were demanding. Law was a challenging field, requiring dedication and hard work. Sarah often found herself buried in books, reading up on cases, and preparing for exams. The library became her second home, a place where she spent hours researching and studying. When Sarah first came to London, she faced a big challenge. She found it difficult to communicate with people because her English wasn't very good. This made her feel lonely and sometimes confused in the busy city. But Sarah had a plan. She loved listening to stories, especially historical stories about English explorers. These stories were not just exciting, they were also a great way for her to improve her English. Sarah found a unique way to learn from these stories. Every time she listened to a story, she would repeat it 3 times. First, she would listen to the story again after 15 minutes. Then, she would listen to it a second time after 45 minutes. Finally, she would listen to it one more time after an hour and a half. This method helped Sarah remember the new English words and phrases she was learning, and it worked. Slowly, Sarah's English began to improve. She started understanding more and more. She could talk to people at her university and at the cafe where she worked. She even made new friends. But then, something happened. Sarah got sick. She woke up one morning feeling very ill. Now, let's find out what's wrong with Sarah and how she handles this new challenge.
Story number 2, Sarah's mysterious illness.
Sarah woke up in her small house feeling different. She didn't feel like herself. Her head felt heavy and her throat felt strange.
What could this be?
Sarah wondered. She had never felt like this before. Usually, Sarah would go to work at the cafe where she made coffee and sandwiches. But today, she couldn't. She felt too weak. Lying in bed, Sarah thought about her daily routine, now disrupted by this mysterious feeling. Her phone rang. It was her friend, Jack, asking why she wasn't at work.
I don't know what's wrong with me, Jack.
Sarah said, her voice sounding weak.
My head hurts and my throat feels odd.
Jack's concern was evident in his voice.
Sarah, maybe you should see a doctor.
Sarah agreed, but felt nervous. She had never been to the doctor alone before. What would the doctor say? Was it something serious? With these thoughts, Sarah decided to go to the doctor's office. As she slowly walked to the doctor's office, Sarah noticed the bustling streets of London. Everything seemed louder and more intense. She felt more vulnerable than ever. At the doctor's office, Sarah met the doctor. He was a kind man with a gentle voice, but his words were puzzling.
Sarah, your symptoms are a bit unusual. We might need to do some tests.
Sarah's heart raced. What could be wrong? The doctor's next words were even more mysterious.
Sarah, this doesn't seem like a regular cold. I want to run some tests to understand better what's going on. Can you come back tomorrow?
Sarah left the doctor's office filled with questions. What was happening to her? Why did the doctor look so concerned? She knew she had to return the next day, but she felt uneasy. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the doctor's words. Her mind was full of questions. What would the tests reveal? Was her illness something more than a cold?
Story number 3. At the doctor.
Sarah stepped into the doctor's office in London with a heart full of mixed emotions. The office, with its sterile yet comforting atmosphere, always brought a sense of solemnity. She sat on the slightly cold chair, waiting for the doctor. The walls were adorned with educational posters about health, and the room smelled faintly of antiseptic. The doctor, a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a gentle demeanor, entered the room. He carried a file which Sarah knew contained the results of her tests. His face was serious yet reassuring, a balance of professionalism and empathy.
Sarah, I have reviewed your tests.
He began, his voice calm but firm. Sarah's heart quickened. She was about to hear news that could change everything.
You don't have a serious illness.
The doctor continued, and Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. But the doctor's expression remained serious.
However, your body is telling you something important. You need to take better care of your health.
These words struck Sarah. She had always considered herself healthy enough, but now she realized that perhaps she had been neglecting her well-being. The doctor leaned forward, placing the file on the desk.
Your body needs more nutrients. You've been working hard, often in stressful conditions, and not eating properly. Your diet lacks essential vitamins and minerals.
Sarah remembered her meals, often just a quick sandwich or a snack eaten on the run. She had never given much thought to nutrition.
Eating healthy foods is crucial.
The doctor advised, his tone turning instructive.
Include more green vegetables, fruits, and plenty of water in your diet. These foods are rich in nutrients that your body is currently lacking.
He listed the benefits of different fruits and vegetables, explaining how they would help in restoring her health. Sarah listened intently, absorbing every word. The doctor's advice was like a roadmap to a healthier life.
By changing your diet, you'll regain your strength, and you're less likely to fall ill in the future.
He concluded. Sarah nodded, her mind racing with thoughts.
I understand, doctor. I'll change my diet. I'll start eating healthier.
She promised. The doctor smiled, a smile that conveyed both encouragement and approval. It was evident that he believed in her ability to make these changes. As Sarah left the doctor's office, she felt a sense of clarity and purpose. She realized that her health was in her hands. She thought about the vegetables and fruits she would buy and the healthy meals she would learn to prepare. It was a new beginning for her, a chance to take control of her health and well-being. The walk to the market was now not just an errand, it was the first step on her journey to a healthier life. The doctor's words echoed in her mind, guiding her choices and inspiring her actions. Sarah was ready to embrace this new chapter, armed with knowledge and determination.
Story number 4. Sarah's journey to health.
In the heart of London, under a sky streaked with clouds, Sarah set out on a mission to change her life. She remembered the doctor's advice vividly: eat more fruits and vegetables, drink plenty of water, and take care of her health. These words echoed in her mind as she walked towards the bustling market. The market was a vibrant tapestry of sights and sounds. Stalls were laden with fresh produce, and the air was filled with the chatter of shoppers and the calls of vendors. Sarah felt a wave of excitement as she stepped into this lively scene. She had been here before, but today was different. Today, she was here not just as a bystander, but as someone on a quest for health. Sarah started at the fruit section. She was greeted by a kaleidoscope of colors: the deep red of cherries, the bright orange of tangerines, the sunny yellow of lemons. She picked up an apple, feeling its smooth skin, and inhaled its fresh scent. She added apples to her basket and then selected some oranges, their citrus aroma invigorating her senses. Bananas, with their promise of quick energy, also went into the basket, along with a punnet of strawberries, their redness like little beacons of health. Next, she moved to the vegetables. Here, the green of the spinach seemed to embody vitality. She picked up a bunch, imagining the iron-rich leaves nourishing her body. Carrots, with their crunch and sweetness, promised both taste and health benefits. She added tomatoes, envisioning the lycopene coursing through her body, and broccoli, a powerhouse of nutrients, completed her selection. As Sarah wandered through the market, she felt a growing sense of determination. This was more than just shopping. It was a step towards a new way of living. She paused to smell the herbs: basil, thyme, rosemary, each with its unique fragrance and health benefits. Her basket was now a cornucopia of healthful choices. It was then that Sarah met an elderly woman, her own basket brimming with greens. The woman's eyes twinkled with wisdom and kindness.
"You're making great choices, young lady,"
she said to Sarah. They struck up a conversation, sharing their love for healthy foods. The woman, who introduced herself as Mrs. Thompson, shared some of her favorite recipes: a spinach and apple salad, a carrot and ginger soup, a tomato and basil pasta. Sarah listened intently, her mind filling with ideas and possibilities. Armed with new recipes and a renewed sense of purpose, Sarah paid for her groceries. She felt a sense of accomplishment, her basket a testament to her commitment to health. She thanked Mrs. Thompson and made her way home, her steps light with anticipation. Back at her house, Sarah laid out her purchases. The array of fruits and vegetables on her kitchen counter was not just food, it was a palette of health and well-being. She felt a surge of creativity and couldn't wait to start cooking. Sarah's journey to health had just begun, but she already felt a change. She was taking control of her well-being, one meal at a time. As she chopped, cooked, and tasted, she knew that this was more than a diet change. It was a lifestyle transformation. In the heart of London, a city of endless possibilities, Sarah was embarking on her most important adventure, the journey to health.
Story number 5. Sarah's healthy dinner adventure.
Sarah stood in her kitchen in London, surrounded by the colorful fruits and vegetables she had bought from the market. It was time to cook her first healthy meal. Her kitchen, usually used for quick snacks and simple meals, was about to become a place of healthy culinary exploration. She tied her apron and washed her hands, ready to begin. First, she decided to make the spinach and apple salad Mrs. Thompson had recommended. Sarah took out a cutting board and a sharp knife. She carefully washed the spinach leaves in a colander under cold running water and then dried them with a kitchen towel. Next, Sarah sliced the apples. She loved the crisp sound as the knife cut through them. The apple slices were placed in a large mixing bowl. She then chopped a handful of walnuts and added them to the bowl for some crunch. For the dressing, Sarah mixed olive oil, a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, and a hint of honey in a small bowl. She whisked them together with a fork until well combined. The aroma was fresh and inviting. With a sense of achievement, Sarah tossed the spinach leaves with the apple slices and walnuts. She drizzled the dressing over the salad, giving it a gentle toss. The salad looked like something from a gourmet restaurant. Encouraged by her success with the salad, Sarah decided to try the carrot and ginger soup. She peeled and chopped carrots into even pieces, enjoying the rhythmic sound of the knife hitting the cutting board. She grated some fresh ginger, its spicy aroma filling the kitchen. In a large pot, Sarah heated a little olive oil. She sautéed chopped onions until they were translucent, enjoying the sizzle and the savory smell. She added the carrots and ginger, stirring them with a wooden spoon. The colors and smells were wonderful. Sarah poured in vegetable stock, bringing the mixture to a boil before reducing the heat. As the soup simmered, her kitchen was filled with a comforting aroma. After letting it cook for a while, she used a hand blender to puree the soup until it was smooth. As the soup gently simmered, Sarah set the table. She placed bowls for the soup and plates for the salad. She was excited to taste her creations. The soup was hearty and flavorful, the warmth of the ginger complementing the sweetness of the carrots perfectly. The salad was crisp and refreshing, with the dressing adding just the right touch of sweetness and tang. Sitting down to eat, Sarah felt a sense of pride and contentment. She had turned simple ingredients into a nutritious and delicious meal. This was a new beginning for her in the kitchen, a journey towards health and well-being.
Story number 6. My best friend.
Sarah's day started with a burst of enthusiasm. She had prepared a delicious, healthy meal and was eager to share it with her friend, Lucy. However, her simple plan was about to take an unexpected turn. With her homemade carrot and ginger soup and spinach and apple salad carefully packed, Sarah set off for Lucy's house, located across the bustling city of London. She planned to take the bus, a choice that usually offered her a pleasant ride and a chance to see the city. As Sarah approached the bus stop, she saw the red double-decker bus pulling away. She had missed it by mere seconds. Her heart sank a bit, but she quickly regrouped. "I'll take the underground," she thought, trying to keep her spirits up despite the setback. Navigating her way to the nearest subway station, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The underground was faster but often crowded. She descended the steps into the station, the sounds of the city fading into a distant hum. The subway was indeed crowded. Sarah held her bag close, protecting the precious containers of food. The train whistled and whooshed through the tunnels, a stark contrast to the leisurely pace of the bus she had intended to take. At each stop, more people got on and off, and Sarah hoped her food would survive the jostling. After what felt like an eternity, Sarah finally reached the station closest to Lucy's house. She ascended to the street level, relieved to be out of the crowded subway. But her adventure wasn't over yet. The last leg of her journey was a short taxi ride away. Sarah hailed a cab, her mind racing with thoughts. What if the food had spilled? What if Lucy didn't like it? The taxi wove through the traffic, the driver expertly navigating the busy London streets. When Sarah arrived at Lucy's doorstep, she was a bundle of nerves and excitement. She rang the bell, holding her breath. Lucy opened the door with a smile, unaware of the mini-odyssey her friend had just experienced.
"Sarah, you made it!"
exclaimed Lucy, surprised to see her. Sarah smiled and stepped inside, eager to unveil her culinary creations. They went into the kitchen, and Sarah unpacked the soup and salad. To her relief, everything was intact. As they sat down to eat, Sarah recounted her adventurous journey, the missed bus, the crowded subway, the taxi ride. Lucy listened, her eyes wide with amazement. Each spoonful of soup and bite of salad seemed to taste better as they shared stories and laughter. The day turned out to be more than just a lunch. It was a testament to Sarah's determination and spirit. What started as a simple plan to share a meal became an adventurous tale of navigating the vibrant and unpredictable city of London.
Story number 7. My family.
Sarah was thrilled at the thought of hosting her family. She imagined her parents, her younger brother, and her grandmother sitting around her dining table, enjoying the healthy dishes she had learned to make. It was the perfect opportunity to share her new passion for healthy cooking with her loved ones. The day before her family's arrival, Sarah made a list of dishes she wanted to prepare. She remembered her father's love for hearty meals and decided to make a vegetable stew. Her mother, who always preferred light and fresh flavors, would surely enjoy a mixed green salad with a homemade vinaigrette. For her little brother, she thought of making a colorful fruit salad, knowing how much he liked sweet treats. And for her grandmother, a lover of traditional flavors, Sarah planned to bake a healthy version of apple crumble. The next day, Sarah headed to the market with a clear vision. She carefully selected fresh vegetables for the stew, a variety of greens for the salad, an assortment of fruits, and the ingredients for her apple crumble. Her basket was a mosaic of colors and textures, reflecting the diverse tastes of her family. Back in her kitchen, Sarah began the preparations. She chopped vegetables for the stew, letting it simmer to perfection. She tossed the salad with a dressing she had just whisked together, smiling as she thought of her mother's likely approval. The fruit salad was a playful mix of berries, oranges, and apples, while the apple crumble was baking in the oven, filling her kitchen with a warm, comforting aroma. As evening approached, Sarah heard the familiar voices of her family outside her door. She rushed to greet them, feeling a burst of happiness. Her parents, brother, and grandmother entered, bringing with them an air of warmth and cheerfulness. Dinner was served, and Sarah watched eagerly as her family tasted each dish. Her father complimented the richness of the vegetable stew. Her mother praised the freshness of the salad. Her brother eagerly devoured the fruit salad, and her grandmother was touched by the healthier version of her favorite apple crumble. The dinner table was alive with conversation, laughter, and the clinking of cutlery. Sarah shared her stories of learning to cook healthy meals, the advice from the doctor, and her adventures in the city. Her family listened, proud and impressed by her dedication to a healthier lifestyle. As the night came to a close, Sarah's family expressed their appreciation for the wonderful meal and her efforts to maintain good health. They were inspired by her commitment and even asked for some of her recipes to try at home. Sitting in her kitchen, long after her family had left, Sarah felt a deep sense of contentment. Her journey into healthy cooking had brought her even closer to her family. She realized that this new chapter in her life was not just about food. It was about love, care, and sharing the joys of a healthy lifestyle with those closest to her heart.
Story number 8. Rainy Day.
Sarah's story unfolds on an ordinary day at her university in London. The campus, always a hive of activity, was particularly lively that day. Sarah, deeply immersed in her law studies, attended back-to-back lectures, her mind buzzing with legal theories and case studies. As the day drew to a close, she felt a mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. Packing her bag, she braced herself for the walk home, her thoughts already on the evening ahead. Stepping outside, Sarah was greeted not by the gentle warmth of the afternoon sun, but by a sudden downpour, unexpected and unannounced. The clear sky had given way to dark, brooding clouds. Sarah was unprepared. She hadn't brought an umbrella, misled by the morning's clear skies. Seeking shelter under the overhang of a nearby building, she watched as students and professors alike hurried past, some ducking under shared umbrellas, others dashing through the rain. It was then that James appeared. Approaching with a confident stride, he held a large umbrella under which he was comfortably dry. Noticing Sarah, he paused and, with a kind smile, offered her refuge from the rain.
Looks like you could use some shelter.
He said, extending his umbrella toward her.
I'm James, by the way.
Sarah, both surprised and grateful, stepped into the offered space.
Thank you so much. I'm Sarah.
She replied, her voice tinged with relief. As they began to walk, the rhythm of the rain on the umbrella created a backdrop to their conversation.
So, Sarah, what's your major?
James inquired, his tone friendly and genuinely interested.
I'm studying law.
Sarah responded.
I've always been passionate about justice and advocacy. It's challenging but incredibly fulfilling, and you?
I'm in the engineering program.
James said.
I've been fascinated by how things work since I was a kid. It's tough, but I love it.
Their conversation flowed effortlessly as they navigated the rain-soaked streets of London. They shared stories of their hometowns, both smaller and quieter compared to the bustling city. They laughed about their first daunting experiences in London, from navigating the busy streets to adapting to the city's pace.
The city was overwhelming at first,
Sarah admitted.
but I've come to love its energy and diversity. There's always something new to discover.
That's true.
James agreed.
London has its own charm. Maybe I could show you some of my favorite spots around the city. There are some great places that aren't in the guidebooks.
Sarah felt a flutter of excitement at the suggestion.
I'd love that.
The rain began to ease as they reached Sarah's apartment building.
Thank you for sharing your umbrella and the company.
Sarah said, stopping outside the entrance.
It was my pleasure.
James replied.
How about I give you a call and we set up a day to explore the city?
Sarah nodded, feeling a surge of anticipation.
I'd like that.
As James walked away, Sarah stood for a moment, watching the rain dissipate. She felt a sense of warmth that wasn't just from escaping the rain. Inside her apartment, she replayed their conversation in her mind, smiling to herself. She was already looking forward to their city adventure and the potential of this new connection.
Story number 9, The Zoo Adventure.
As Sarah and James entered the zoo, they were greeted by the sounds of animals and the sight of lush greenery. The first exhibit they visited was the birdhouse. Sarah was captivated by the vibrant colors of the parrots, their feathers a brilliant mix of greens, reds, and blues. They watched in awe as a peacock spread its magnificent tail, displaying an array of iridescent colors. They moved on to the reptile house, where Sarah felt a mix of fascination and apprehension. The snakes, with their sleek bodies and unblinking eyes, were both eerie and mesmerizing. James pointed out a chameleon, its skin changing colors seamlessly to blend with its surroundings. Sarah was amazed by this incredible display of nature's adaptability. As they strolled towards the aquarium, Sarah's excitement was palpable. She had always loved marine life. The aquarium was like stepping into another world, a serene underwater realm. They saw schools of fish swimming in unison, their scales shimmering under the water's surface. A giant sea turtle glided past them, its movements graceful and unhurried. Next, they found themselves in front of the big cat's enclosure. A majestic lion lay there, its mane giving it a regal appearance. Nearby, a leopard prowled gracefully, its spotted coat a testament to nature's artistry. Sarah and James watched in silence, mesmerized by these powerful creatures. As the afternoon sun began to wane, they made their way to the elephant house. The elephants, with their gentle eyes and massive frames, were a sight to behold. Sarah marveled at their intelligence and the tender interactions between the members of the herd. James shared interesting facts about elephants, and Sarah listened, impressed by his knowledge. Their last stop was the Butterfly Pavilion, a place of delicate beauty. Hundreds of butterflies fluttered around, their wings like thin veils painted with intricate patterns. One landed softly on Sarah's hand, its wings opening and closing gently. It was a magical moment, and she looked at James, her eyes shining with joy. As the day came to an end, they found a quiet spot near a pond where ducks were swimming. They sat there, talking about their favorite moments of the day. Sarah felt a sense of contentment she hadn't known before. James was easy to be with, his presence comforting and exhilarating at the same time. Walking out of the zoo, Sarah felt a connection with James that went beyond their shared interests. It was as if they had known each other for years. They talked about meeting again soon, perhaps for a cooking session at Sarah's place. The thought of cooking with James made her heart flutter with excitement. Sarah returned home that evening with a heart full of memories. Her journey, which had started with a quest for health and well-being, had brought her an unexpected gift, a budding romance with someone who shared her interests and passions. As she lay in bed that night, she thought about the zoo, the animals, and James. Life, she realized, was full of surprises, and she was eager to see what else was in store for her.
Story number 10. My Day.
The morning for Sarah began with the first light of dawn filtering through her bedroom window in London. She always woke up early, feeling refreshed and ready to start the day. Her morning routine was simple, yet invigorating. She would stretch her body with a few yoga poses, feeling the stiffness leaving her muscles, making her feel flexible and energized. After her yoga session, Sarah headed to the kitchen to prepare her breakfast. Breakfast was her favorite meal of the day, and she loved experimenting with healthy ingredients. This morning, she opted for a smoothie bowl. Into the blender went a mix of bananas, blueberries, a handful of spinach, and almond milk. The result was a delicious, nutrient-packed smoothie bowl that she topped with slices of fresh strawberries and a sprinkle of chia seeds. With breakfast done, Sarah prepared for work. She worked at a local cafe, a job she cherished because it allowed her to meet different people and also practice her passion for making healthy meals and drinks. As she walked to the cafe, she enjoyed the crisp morning air and the bustling streets of London, now familiar and dear to her. At the cafe, Sarah was greeted by the aroma of fresh coffee and the warm smiles of her regular customers. Her day at work was busy but fulfilling. She made coffees, smoothies, and sandwiches, always with a focus on healthy ingredients. Between tasks, she shared quick chats with customers, some asking for her recipes, others just sharing a friendly word. Lunchtime at the cafe was Sarah's opportunity to showcase her culinary skills. Today, she prepared a quinoa salad with roasted vegetables, a dish that was becoming a favorite among the cafe's patrons. She enjoyed the satisfaction of seeing people appreciate the flavors and the health benefits of the food she made. After work, Sarah would usually take a walk in the nearby park. The park was her place to unwind and connect with nature. Sometimes she would read a book under a tree or simply watch the ducks swimming in the pond. In the evening, Sarah returned home and often spent time experimenting with new recipes in her kitchen. Cooking had become her therapy, her way of expressing creativity. Tonight, she decided to prepare stir-fried tofu with mixed vegetables, a dish full of colors and flavors. After dinner, Sarah's night routine was all about relaxation. She would often call Michael to talk about their day or plan their next outing. Then, she would take a warm bath, read a book, or listen to some soothing music. Finally, as the night deepened, Sarah went to bed, feeling grateful for the day. She reflected on her journey, the changes she had made in her life, the new people she had met, and the new experiences she had embraced. With thoughts of the day's joy and the anticipation of tomorrow's adventures, Sarah drifted into a peaceful sleep.